The Paracave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Eels Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
Welcome to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. Troy's tips for round 9 of the NRL. This is where I give my tips for the week of rugby league. Now, I'd just like to thank all the listeners who have listened to my tips, and if indeed you do follow my tips, thank you very much. But you will know that I would have got 5 out of 8 last week, which the week before I got 5, and then previous 2 weeks to that I got 6s. So a little bit disappointing last week to get 5. To win tipping comps, you need to at least get 6 or above each week. But this podcast is probably, I like to thank you for listening, because it is one of the best rating podcasts I have that come out throughout the week. So I have about 4 or 5 that come out each week, and I get a lot of responses about this one and a lot of listens to this one, so I really appreciate that one, and I hope you enjoy me going over each and every game as well. Now, to the first game, which is on Thursday the 2nd of May, 7:50pm at Accor Stadium. The South Sydney Rabbitohs take on the Premiers, the Penrith Panthers. And just as recording this podcast, the news has come through that South Sydney coach Jason Demetriou has been sacked by the South Sydney Rabbitohs board and won't be the coach in this game. His position will be taken over by Ben Hornby as the interim coach, while South Sydney look for a new coach in 2025. So that throws up a bit of a dilemma. Well, not a dilemma, but a option, because we have seen in the past when coaches do get sacked that the team steps up and they win their next game. Will this happen in this game? Who knows, because they are coming up against the Penrith Panthers, the defending premiers, and they welcome back a couple of stars. Moses Leota, he comes back into the starting side, and also Taruva, he comes back onto the wing as well after not playing last week. So they are pretty much full strength. Nathan Cleary came back last week, had a blinder at halfback there. The Bash brothers, they're back together, Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris. And Luke Garner is in for Scott Sorensen, who is battling injury at the moment, so he is in that second row position. Dane Laurie on the interchange bench, and Maverick Geyer as well. Paul Alamotti, who scored a try last week against the Cowboys, he is the 19th man. So for the Rabbitohs, look, still no Latrell Mitchell, he is still out, suspended. Jai Gray takes that fullback position, and look, I've been pretty impressed with him at fullback. He's a little live wire, really gets in there and has a go. So great to see him with that fullback position. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Tane Milne, he has been suspended for 2 weeks, and Isaiah Tass comes into the centre position. Jack Whiten obviously in the centres as well. Cody Walker at 5'8". There was a little bit of talk maybe that Jack Whiten would go 5'8", and Cody Walker go halfback, but that hasn't happened. Look, this is the team that was named Tuesday afternoon, and with this news of the coach being sacked, maybe this may change. It may not. I don't think it will change that much because the game is only 48 hours away at the time of this recording. So I don't think that will change too much. So look, it's going to be very hard for the Rabbitohs. I think they've had a lot of dramas since the start of the season. So I think the Penrith Panthers, they will get this win. And look, just before I go any further, if you did listen to my replay chat that I had with the Duckman on Pulse FM 89.9 FM, you would have heard that we quickly went through this round, and you would know my tips already without me going through them. But I will tip the Panthers in this game. The next game, the first game on Friday night, sees the Manly Sea Eagles at 4 Pines Park take on the Canberra Raiders, a replay of back in the day of the 1987 Grand Final. But that was a long time ago. And these two teams, Sea Eagles sit in 4th, the Raiders in 10th. And look, the last time they played last year, it was a massive win, 42 points to 14 to the Sea Eagles. I think Tommy Trbojevic scored a triple in that game. So that was they only met once last year. But this year, look, the Sea Eagles, they had an impressive victory over my Parramatta Eels last week at the same venue. And look, Hamoli Olakau'atu is out, suspended for 2 weeks. Ethan Bullimore takes his spot in the second row, and Toa Sipley, he comes onto the interchange bench as well. Nathan Brown, he's on the interchange bench. He had a great game last week against his former club. Matthew Lodge as well. Rumours going around that he is looking to sign an extension at the Manly Sea Eagles as well. Now, also at the time of this recording, so it may or may not happen, Daly Cherry Evans has been named in this side at captain and halfback, but he may not play due to suspension. If it does go ahead, he is facing 3 weeks on the sideline for his part in the tackle with Hamoli Olakau'atu on Sean Lane. So we will just have to wait and see if he does play. It'll be the first time in his career that he has gone to the judiciary, and also the first time in his career if he does indeed get suspended as well. So, look, that case is going on. If I get any news by the end of the podcast, I will let you know if it comes through or not. But look, I'm going to tip Jake Arthur is on standby if obviously if Daly isn't playing. So look, for Canberra, Albert Hobuate goes back to fullback, replacing Chevy Stewart. Nick Kotrick comes in for James Schiller. So Coach Ricky Stewart going for a little bit of experience. Elliot Whitehead, the captain, comes back from injury, back into the second row. So Coach Ricky Stewart going for experience, even though he does have young players, inexperienced players in the halves, in Strange and Weeks as well. So, look, I'm going to tip Manly in this game. Look, they showed last week against Parramatta they can get the job done, but I think they will get this job done as well. Again, we've seen that 4 Pines Park has turned into a little bit of a fortress for Manly. So I think Canberra are just struggling a little bit at the moment. And obviously with Jamal Fogarty out as well, that is a big loss for them. So I will tip Manly in that one. The next game on Friday night is a replay of round 1 that was in Las Vegas. The Broncos taking on the Roosters. Now, in that game in Las Vegas, the Roosters got the win, 20 points to 10. And of course, there was that incident on field. Spencer Leniu and Ezra Mam, the racial slur incident. Spencer's not playing this game. He's still serving his suspension. And I'm sure both clubs have addressed this issue. Back then, when back round 1, round 2, they probably would have addressed this issue anyway as well. So I don't think any repeat will happen in this game, and I don't think there'll be any spice. Well, there might be a little bit of spice to this game, but who knows? But look, Brisbane are pretty much looking full strength and looking pretty much sort of like their grand final side from last year, but full strength. Adam Reynolds are back. We saw him last week with those cramps at Campbelltown. Reece Walsh with those cramps as well, but they'll be fit to play. Corey Oates is out as Selwyn Cobbo comes back into the side, and Ezra Mam comes back into the side as well, which sees Jock Madden fall out of the side, and also Corey Oates fall out of the side as well. Jesse Arthurs goes back to wing and makes way for Selwyn Cobbo in the centre. So pretty strong back line there. The good news for the Broncos, during the week, Billy Walters re-signed with them for another couple of years to see him at the end of the 2026 season at the Brisbane Broncos. So good news for the Walters family, coach and father to Billy, Kevin, and obviously Billy and his family as well. So congratulations to him on his contract extension. For the Roosters, the news during the week as well that Luke Keary will retire at the end of the 2024 season. So congratulations, Luke, on a great career. Clive Churchill medalist, 3-time premiership winner, New South Wales Origin player, also has played for Australia and Ireland as well in internationals. He will retire at the end of the year 2024. So congratulations, Luke. He's playing in this game. James Tedesco, captain and fullback. Daniel Tupou, he comes back into the side. Victor Radley comes back as well. Sorry, no, Victor doesn't. Sorry about that. I'm just looking at that. He's named at number 22, the reserves bench. He may be a late call-up. You don't know. Connor Watson is in that lock position at the moment. Look, Victor may get a late call-up. We'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But look, Sam Walker, he had a blinder last week against the Dragons. Look, the entire Roosters side did have a blinder, putting 60 points on the Dragons. But I think the Broncos at Suncorp Stadium, Friday night specialists, I think they will get the win in this one. The next game is going to be very interesting on Saturday. It is the Bulldogs taking on the West Tigers at Accor Stadium, 3 p.m. Now, the Bulldogs are in the top 8. First time since 2017, I think it was. The West Tigers find themselves in 15th spot on the ladder. Look, same side name that played the Brisbane Broncos, the Tigers, the same named squad there, and also the Bulldogs as well. So, okay, I'm just got breaking news here as we interrupt that game between the Bulldogs and the Tigers. Sea Eagles captain Daly Cherry-Evans has been successful in having his charge downgraded to a Grade 1 offence. He is now free to play in Manly's game against Canberra this Friday night and will receive a $750 fine for the offence. So there you have it. He will play, so that even strengthens up Manly's chances. Okay, back to this Bulldogs-Tigers game. And look, the Bulldogs, they've been playing some really good footy this year. as have the Tigers. But this Bulldogs side has impressed me. Obviously, they lost the first game against Parramatta, but since then, they've had some great wins against the Roosters last week as well, the Titans as well. They've beaten them by a big score, and they're slowly coming together. I think it's their left edge with Kickow, Burton, Cherry, and the Fox, I think it is. I'm probably all wrong there, but I think it's that edge. Pretty lethal. The Tigers, on the other hand, as well, they've been playing some good footy. They've had some controversial calls against them, but they are certainly playing a different style of football, and I think it is improving each and every week, just unfortunately not with the results. I'm going to go the Bulldogs in this game just because of their form at the moment, but I'm tipping this is going to be a close game. Maybe a lot of points, but a close game, but the Bulldogs will get the win. Titans versus Storm is a second game on May Day, Star Wars Day, the 4th of May, Saturday, 5:30pm. The Titans take on the Storm up there at the Gold Coast. Last year, it was in this corresponding game up on the Gold Coast, it was the Titans 38 points to 34 winners in that game. Look, Cameron Munster's 200th game, and we all know how the Storm do milestone games. They do them well, and they do want to win those games for their milestone men. So I think that he will be up for a big game, as will the team. Look, Xavier Coates is the only out for them. Tyron Wishart comes onto the wing. He is Mr. Fix-It, I think. He plays a lot of positions, halfback, 5'8", wing now. He's probably played centre. He's probably played in the forwards as well, hooker maybe. But he does seem to be Mr. Versatile and can fit in anywhere and everywhere in this Melbourne Storm squad. For the Titans, AJ Brimson is back at fullback, which is probably one of his favourite positions, but saying today he liked to play in the spine when Jaden Campbell comes back. But I think fullback is probably his best position there. Tanner Boyd retains that 5'8" position. They had a great win against the Warriors last weekend. Look, this is going to be tough because they've been playing some good footy over the last few weeks, been unlucky in a few results. They got a great win last week against the Warriors in New Zealand. Can they keep that momentum? Will that win give them confidence? This Melbourne Storm, they had a massive win, a 34-point win over the South Sydney Rabbitohs this last week on Anzac Day. Look, I think this Melbourne side, bit of a machine going at the moment. They are playing really good footy. I'm going to tip Melbourne in this one. It could be another high-scoring game as well, but I think the Melbourne Storm will come out on top. They're just quietly going about their business this year. At the moment, the last game on Super Saturday is the Cowboys taking on the Dolphins up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Look, this one's going to be really interesting, I think, because the Cowboys, they let in a lot of points. They go into this game as favourites in this game. They didn't play that long ago, to be honest. I think it was round 1 this year, and the Cowboys touched up the Dolphins 43 points to 18. Could this be the same sort of result? I don't think so. The Dolphins have since improved since round 1, but Kenny Bromwich is out due to HIA protocols, and so that's a big loss for them. Trey Fuller at the fullback position, he has been very impressive. I have thought he's only played I think he's played 3 NRL games. Obviously, Hammer the hammer is out of that fullback spot, so he's making his own. And look, that'll be a great clash against Scott Drinkwater as well. Isaiah Katoa as well. He's been playing some great footy lately. He is very important to this Dolphins side. Jeremy Marshall-King will be one to watch from dummy half as well. Tore up Parramatta right up the middle as well. So, and good news for the Dolphins as well. Last week, I think it was Max Plath re-signed with them for another couple of years as well. For the Cowboys, well, look, as I said, they can let in a lot of points. They can score a lot of points as well. So, Queensland Country Bank Stadium, they only just lost to the Panthers by a converted try last week. Helam Lukey comes back onto the bench, so good news there. Look, I think the Cowboys will get this win. Yeah, I'm going to tip the Cowboys in this one, only because it's up there at Townsville. I think maybe the last couple of weeks for the Dolphins have been big weeks for them. The Cowboys, they need to get their season back on track. They're in 9th position. They want to sneak into that top 8. This is a crucial game for them. I'm going to tip the Cowboys in this one. Sunday, the first game sees the Knights take on the Warriors. Sunday, the 5th of May, 2 p.m. The Knights in 13th, the Warriors in 12th position. Look, they've been struggling a little bit this year, losing games that they probably should have won over there in New Zealand and also away as well. The Newcastle Knights find themselves in 13th position. They had a good win against the Dolphins last weekend, 18 points to 14. David Armstrong, the New South Wales Cup fullback, he made his NRL debut last week against the Dolphins, and what a blinder he had, scoring a try, and was very crucial to Newcastle's victory last week. Dane Gagai is the captain these days, with Kalen Ponga out for an extended period. They've stuck with Tyson Gamble and Jackson Hastings as the halves, which is good. Look, once you get a winning combination, you probably want to stick with that one. Jack Cogger has been named at number 20. Jack Hetherington, number 19 as well. Just looking through their squad here. So, look, pretty much the same team as that took on the Dolphins. For the Warriors, Kurt Capel returns back into that second row spot, which is good news for them. We also have Bunty Afoa as well onto the interchange bench. So, a couple of changes there for them, the Warriors. And look, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's probably been a little bit quiet the last couple of weeks after having some massive games previously. Tamari Martin comes into the 5/8 spot, which is good to see, partnering Sean Johnson, who is still playing some good footy. Wade Egan, he's one to watch as well. The workhorse, Tohu Harris at lock. Look, I'm going to tip the Warriors in this one. They need to get this win. It's going to be tough for Newcastle, even though it is up at Newcastle, but I'm going to tip the Warriors. They need to get their season back on track. They need a win to get closer to that top 8 position. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to tip it's a low-scoring game in this one, but the Warriors are favourites going into this one. I'm going to stick with them. I'm going to tip them. The last game of the round sees the Sharks take on the Dragons. So, the rivals. So, the Sharks and Dragons, fierce rivals from over the years. This game being played at Sharks' home ground, PointsBet Stadium. They see themselves first on the ladder. So they're right up the top there. Toby Rudolph returns onto the interchange bench. Daniel Atkinson holds his spot at 5'8". Nico Hines leading the Daly M's at the moment. For the Dragons, Zach Lomax goes into the centre. Jack Bird's in the centre. Moses Sully, unfortunately, out due to concussion protocols. Michaeli Ravalawa comes back into the side as well. Raymond Fatala Mariner in the second row. Look, this is going to be an interesting one. Can the Dragons bounce back after their loss against the Roosters, 60 points to 18? That's a massive loss. Wonder what that will do to them. Will that deflate them a little bit, or will that pump them up to try and get this win? Because no one wants to be embarrassed 2 weeks in a row. The Sharks, on the other hand, they are playing some good footy. Look, people have said, but the Sharks haven't played top four sides yet. They've been playing a lot of bottom tier sides and had a soft draw and the like. But in my opinion, you still have to beat who is in front of you. You still have to beat who is in front of you, and the Sharks have done that. Look, unfortunately for the Dragons, last time they played last year, it was the Sharks 52 points to 16. I do think this is a different Dragons side under new coach Shane Flanagan. So they are playing a little bit different football. They can be up and down in terms of defence. I'm going to tip the Sharks in this one, and my team, the Parramatta Eels, have the bye this week, so a guaranteed 2 points, so that's good. And in a time of need, news today that Clint Gutherson will be out for 4 to 5 weeks after having a minor knee operation. So 1 week already gone. That'll be good for his recovery, I guess, but guaranteed 2 points, so that's come at a good time, even though it probably might not sneak us up the ladder too much. But 2 points is 2 points, and every team gets the 2 points for the buys. I think every team gets 3 this year. Okay, just recapping those tips this week. I have the Panthers, I have the Sea Eagles, I have the Broncos, I have the Bulldogs, I have the Storm, I have the Cowboys, I have the Warriors, and I have the Sharks. So let me know about those tips. Are they the ones that you are going to choose as well? Have I got it right? Have I got it wrong? How many am I going to get right this week? Look, enjoy your footy this weekend, and look, I hope your team wins. Obviously my team's going to get the 2 points. I hope your team wins, and I hope your tips get up as well. So thank you very much for listening. Stay tuned throughout the week. There will be a new interview based podcast come out on Thursday. No radio this week on Saturday, so there might be some other podcasts that come out during the week, but stay tuned to the Instagram and Facebook pages for what's coming up as well. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy your footy, and look, I can say it anyway, but they aren't playing. Go Para!
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Parramatta Podcast. See you next time.